Welcome back to the Growth Over Goals podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Montgomery, and it's good to be with you. Today is just you and I hanging out, solo episode on a very important leadership topic. The topic is self-awareness. What do we know about self-awareness? Two things. Number one, it's the beginning of growth and development. Number two, it doesn't happen on its own. It takes a great level of intentionality, coaching, systems, structure, assessments, feedback to grow in our self-awareness. It's a continuous journey of improvement. We all need to grow in this area. And John Maxwell says it this way in his book, Self-Aware Leader. We have a very easy time seeing other people's blind spots and a very difficult time seeing our own. It's for that reason we just want to jam for a few minutes on self-awareness. I hope this helps you in your journey. I hope that you would also teach this to people that you lead, coach, teach, or train. It's a foundational topic that we all need to grow in. So if we're going to grow in our self-awareness, what are we going to do? Number one, we're going to get more feedback one-to-one, but not just any kind of feedback. We want to get honest, helpful, and timely feedback. When we're meeting with our teams, when we're meeting with our colleagues, clients, even our family, we're going to start to ask more questions and get more feedback. A couple rules on getting one-to-one feedback from your kids, from your friends, from your clients, from your colleagues. Number one, specific questions leads to a specific answer. Make sure if you're going to ask for feedback, you ask for very specific feedback. If I called you right after this podcast, we have a friendship, and I say, hey, what'd you think of the podcast? You'd probably say something like, hey, it was a great episode, or hey, I enjoyed listening to it. Because it'd be really awkward to say, hey, here's 3 things that I would change, Jordan, and here's 3 things that you screwed up. Now, if I called you and said, hey, one of the things I'm working on in our podcast is slowing down my pace and how I communicate. Would you mind giving me some context or sharing some feedback on my pace related to my communication in the podcast? More specific, you would be able to give me a more specific answer. I also gave you permission to share the feedback. Number 2, where there's tension, pay attention. If someone gives you something that's difficult to receive, Craig Rochelle taught me this, ask more questions. Where there's tension, pay attention. Don't just wall them off. Don't discount the feedback they're giving you. Our ego and our pride wants to discount. Instead, ask another question. Hey, tell me more about that. Can you tell me where you see that? Can you tell me where that shows up in my leadership journey? So often, those moments create the greatest breakthroughs. So where there's tension, pay attention. And then finally, get feedback before game day. Make feedback a regular part of your rhythm. Make it a consistent behavior. Allow this to be something that you do on a frequent basis. Feedback one-to-one. So again, quick rules for feedback. Get feedback before game day. Where there's tension, pay attention. And a specific question will always lead to a more specific answer. Don't just simply say, can I get some feedback? Okay, so that's feedback one-to-one. We'd also love for you to get feedback one-to-many. With your team, regardless of whether you're a veteran leader, an emerging leader, you could suggest this to your boss, or if you're the leader, manager, boss, and you have the liberty to make something like this happen or call the shots, say, hey, we're going to start getting some group feedback, some consistent dialogue as a team. You pick the frequency. You can do this once a week. You can do it once a month with your team. Find a cadence, find a frequency, and here's what you're going to do. One person on your team is going to say, I'd like to get feedback, and the leader should go first. There's 10 or 15 minutes of silence for the leader. So the leader can't respond to the feedback they're receiving, or the person can't respond to the feedback they're receiving. Is simply say, hey, I want you to tell me one thing that you'd like me to start, one thing that you'd like me to stop, and one thing that you'd like me to keep doing in our organization or in my leadership, in my development, and how I communicate. One thing you'd like me to start, one thing you'd like me to stop, and one thing you'd like me to keep doing. I'm going to be silent for the next 10 to 15 minutes, and I'm going to allow you all to speak into those things. What did you do? You provided a structure, you gave people permission, and you began a feedback conversation as a team. I think the leader should go first. Be silent, don't respond. This allows people to give you feedback where you're not cutting them off. You could follow up with somebody later, but pick that exercise and then add to it a frequency or a rhythm where you're doing that as a team. The leader goes first, and then you could just go through the other folks in the organization. Make sure people feel comfortable with that. Don't force them to opt into this. What I found is 90% of the feedback conversations are incredibly encouraging. Your team will love it, and it gives people structure and a license to share honest, helpful, and timely feedback. Okay, number 3, watch the game film. If you want to become more aware, if you want to increase your self-awareness, actually record yourself communicating or connecting with others. Caveat, do this where you have permission. I think I'm stating the obvious, but the last thing we want you doing is recording some conversation and somebody doesn't know that you're recording. But if you get permission to record a presentation, maybe there's some sort of a meeting where you're communicating, you're giving a keynote speech, record yourself connecting with the world around you. One of life's best questions is, what is it like to be on the other side of me? Why is it such a good question? Because you've never been on the other side of you, but you can be on the other side of you if you decide to record a part of your interaction, meeting, presentation, etc. Do it where you have permission. Watch the game film. I always think about Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant claimed to be the only NBA athlete in the history of the NBA to watch every game he ever played in its entirety. So think about that. NBA players usually have to watch the touches. So they've got to watch the plays where they have the ball in their hands. Kobe said, I'm going to be the only player to watch every single game from start to finish. Whether I'm in the game, not in the game, have the ball, don't have the ball. I'm on offense, I'm in defense. I don't care. I want to watch how I interact with my teammates, how I play defense, how I play offense, how I move off the ball, how I move when I'm with the ball. I want to get more feedback and watch myself play the game of basketball more than anybody else who's ever done it. And I think it probably worked out okay for Kobe Bryant. Finally, 360 feedback. Get anonymous feedback from your team members. You can come up with your own questions. There's a ton of great resources available to you where you could do an anonymous survey. It's amazing how people open up to us when they can give anonymous feedback. But it's also interesting how we receive the feedback differently when multiple people say we have to do more work in any given area of our leadership or development. Give you a quick story. I'm speaking years ago at this conference in Chicago. It's a financial services company. Speaking on a stage, there's a few thousand people there. I get done with a presentation and the CEO of the organization pulls me aside. He said, Jordan, great presentation. The problem is I only heard half of it. I'm thinking, what do you mean you only heard half of it? Were you not here for half of the presentation? He says, I only heard half of it because you talk way too fast. In that moment, I did not pay attention where there was tension. I actually excused his feedback. I thought, oh, he's from a different generation. He's older than me. I mean, I'm a millennial. We talk faster. He probably just didn't get it. And I took his feedback and I threw it in the proverbial trash can. A month later, I had to do a 360 assessment on my communication. In other words, I had to get anonymous feedback as part of a leadership training on my communication. What did 9 out of 10 people say? And that anonymous feedback about my communication. Jordan, you talk too fast when you communicate. All of a sudden, I listened to and received that feedback in a completely different way. Give people a license to share anonymous feedback. Do a 360 review and get feedback from your team, from your clients. You choose the group, you choose the questions. Super powerful exercise. Record yourself where you have permission. Watch yourself communicate or present. Why? Because one of life's best questions is, what is it like to be on the other side of me? And you've never been on the other side of you. So put yourself in an environment where you can see yourself connect and communicate with the world around you. Group feedback. Have some group discussions where you get honest, helpful, and timely feedback. What you'll find is 90% of it is encouraging, but you're going to give people a window to share some constructive feedback with you as well. Start, stop, keep. Provide a structure. The leader goes first. Allow people to opt into that. Don't force your team to be a part of that, but where people want to opt in, super powerful exercise in getting feedback as a team. You pick the frequency or cadence. Do that on a regular basis. And then feedback one-to-one. Ask more questions of the people that know you, the people you spend time with. Rules in asking for feedback, specific questions leads to a specific response. Make sure you're taking time to pay attention where there's tension. And then let's always make sure we get feedback before game day. Make this a consistent rhythm in your conversations one-to-one. Final thought in receiving feedback. I found that this question is really powerful when you're meeting with your team, your clients, colleagues, or even your family members. Here's the question. What do you want to tell me that you have not told me? What do you want to tell me that you have not told me? Give people permission. Give them a license to share with you the things that you need to hear. Why? Because self-awareness is the beginning of growth and development, and self-awareness does not happen on its own. It takes intentionality, it takes coaching, it takes systems, it takes feedback. We need to be more intentional in how we improve our self-awareness as leaders at work, in the home, and in our everyday lives. We have an easy time seeing other people's blind spots, and we have a very difficult time seeing our own. Cheers to you on your journey of self-improvement and of self-awareness. I hope today's short solo episode added some value to you. If it did, we would love it if you would rate and review this podcast, Growth Over Goals. It allows us to impact and reach more people and develop leaders across multiple industries and across our country. We're so thankful that you decided to tune in today to the Growth Over Goals podcast. Be well, be awesome. Have a wonderful day. This has been another episode of the Growth Over Goals podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Montgomery, and I want to say thanks again for being with us today. Thanks again to John Cho and his team at Storyline Multimedia for all that they do behind the scenes to make these episodes go. Be well, be great. Have an amazing day.